the future.
Greetings from our studio. You're welcome to today's edition of Prime News on My Major Prime. Thanks for your attention. And we are live from Douala, the economic capital of the country. My name is Gienda Peldrine Blanche. Can we begin today's edition of the news with announcement or details of the visit of presidential couple Mr. and Mrs. Bia. They are currently in Europe for a short stay and are accompanied by a delegation including the minister delegate of a civil cabinet at the presidency. This visit is the first after over 21 months. Eileen Sama tells us more in the following report.
President Paul Biya of the Republic of Cameroon and wife Mrs. Chantal Biya left the Simalen International Airport, Yaoundé, Sunday, July 11, 2021, for a short stay in Europe, as communicated in a press release by Samuel Mvondo Ayolo, Minister, Director of the Civil Cabinet, who also accompanied the presidential couple, alongside Rear Admiral Joseph Fuda, Special Advisor at the Presidency of the Republic, and Mr. Simon Pierre Bikele, Chief of State Protocol. At the Simalen Airport, the head of state was welcomed by the President of the Senate, Marcel Nyadjifenji, President of the National Assembly, Kavayege Jibril, and the Prime Minister head of government, Joseph Diongute, among several other dignitaries. Before leaving the country, President Biya granted 3 audiences to the Prime Minister, the Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic, Jean Kwete, and Minister Samuel Mvondo Ayolo, Director of the Civil Cabinet. Meanwhile, Mrs. Chantal Biya exchanged with wives of the close collaborators of the president. It is worth noting that President Biya has for 22 months not traveled out of the country, making it the first time the couple is stepping out of Cameroon since COVID-19 outbreak. The head of state and wife are expected to meet a protesting crowd at the Intercontinental Hotel in Switzerland upon arrival in Europe.
At least 4 individuals have been confirmed dead following a fatal road accident which occurred at Bangante and Manju. Those are 2 road accidents actually. Both accidents occurred yesterday, Sunday, July 11, 2021. Yet another road accident blamed on the poor state of our road and reckless driving. From Quinta in the following report.
3 persons are reported to have died and 4 others hospitalized following an accident which occurred between Thonga and Bangante in the west region of Cameroon the evening of Sunday, July 11, 2021. According to reports, the accident involved 4 vehicles, a Carina, pickup, a bus, and another. Sources say one of the vehicles on board 6 persons collided with a pickup and 2 other vehicles crashed into them, killing 2 persons on the spot and 1 other died in hospital. The accident has been blamed on overspeeding, as witnesses say all vehicles involved were on top speed. Away from Bangante, another accident left a lady dead in Manjo, still in the west region of Cameroon, at about 5 p.m. on Sunday. Eyewitnesses say the lady on a motorcycle was violently hit by a pickup on top speed. Reports further say the lady was crushed beyond recognition. Sources say the driver of the pickup escaped after the incident. Meanwhile, 2 other vehicles collided on the same spot. Investigation has been opened by law enforcement officials to track down owner of the said pickup. The accidents yesterday adds to many that has claimed several lives along major roads in the west region of Cameroon.
A young mother in Manjo has announced with sadness the disappearance of her 7-month-old baby. She was in company of her baby during the wake service and she fell asleep and woke up to discover her baby was nowhere to be found, and no one has any idea where the baby has been taken to or where the baby is. Let's get details of the story in the following report.
Distress, shock, and frustration. This is the state of this family.
They are frustrated over the sudden disappearance of a 7-month-old baby. We are in Manjo in Mungo Division, Littoral Region of Cameroon. Sources say this lady in question was in possession of her 7-month-old baby during a wake service. She bowed to sleep due to tiredness with her baby on her, who was also asleep. Unfortunately, she woke up with no sight of her baby. Probably thinking family members had taken the young baby for a walk, she asked questions that yielded no fruit. As frightening as it seemed, she raised an alarm for the immediate search of her baby. Apparently, her son was nowhere around the area. It is feared that this might be another case of kidnap which is becoming common in the country. While family members keep fingers crossed and continue to ask questions regarding who knows what about the disappearance of the baby, investigations have been opened to get to the root of the matter. Cases of child trafficking and other mystical happenings have been recorded recently, giving reasons for parents, family members and guardians to be extra careful. Security forces have presented to the public some alleged thieves who were involved in the displacement of bags of cement after an accident involving a truck. They are also accused of multiple acts threatening security in the West region. Nora Kakibi completes the story.
These are the men caught over the weekend in Kongsamba for having stolen cement from a truck and other items in the locality. They have been terrorizing the entire population. The truck is said to have left Douala heading to the West region and had an accident at the entrance to Barre Bakem. Some inhabitants, alongside another truck driver, came in to rescue the driver by taking him and the conductor to the hospital. From the hospital, they came back and offloaded a good quantity, over 100 bags of cement from the truck. While they were transporting the stolen cement to their various hideouts, eyewitness accounts alerted the elements of the gendarmerie, who immediately answered present at the crime scene. The alleged thieves were presented to the press recently in a press briefing chaired by the Senior Divisional Officer for Mungo Division, Yves Bertrand Jana. It should be noted that during the press briefing, the SDO congratulated the efforts of the law enforcement officers and equally applauded the local population for cooperating with the security men to report crimes and turning criminals who perpetually threaten the security of the society.
Once more, I want to congratulate the forces of law and order, the gendarmerie, the police, and all the forces for the energy they have deployed for the security of our population in order to maintain law and order in our division.
The men are currently under custody, gnashing their teeth while awaiting the hammer of justice to fall on them.
Let's now talk about the Cameroon Inclusive Child Eye Health Hospital. The Presbyterian Pediatric Eye Hospital at Chalimbe has been inaugurated. The modern facility was inaugurated on July 10, 2021 by the moderator of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon. The moderator says though the hospital is set aside for children, there is a general section to attend to the needs of the general public. Lasha Kingsley was there during the inaugural ceremony. He compiled the following.
The Cameroon Inclusive Child Eye Health Hospital, the Presbyterian Pediatric Eye Hospital at Chalimbe, has been inaugurated. The modern facility was inaugurated July 10, 2021 by the moderator of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon.
We have crafted out this place basically for our children. I know in our African setting, children have never been given a place, and the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon wants to change the narrative and give a special place to children, a hospital set aside only for children. And as we heard in the different speeches, it is first of its kind in Cameroon and in sub-Saharan Africa. And we trust that people will come from all over to use the facilities of this place for the good of our children. And it's not only limited to children, but also to adults. So whoever has eye problems is free to come here for consultation.
The moderator of the PCC says, though the hospital is set aside for children, there is also a general section that will serve the public.
We also have a general section that will serve the public, because if you come with your eye problems, they will need to know the state of your system, your blood pressure, and other issues that are connected to eye issues. So a general section will also operate at this eye facility to give holistic healing to the people.
The magnificent facility, worth close to £1 billion CFA, is the fruit of a partnership between the PCC and some strategic partners like Christian Blind Mission CBM.
We supported the PCC with 1.5 million euro for this project. You can convert it to CFA by about close to $1 billion. The construction phase itself, this facility is worth about 650 million, of which CBM is putting 400. So the PCC has done a significant contribution financially to the facility that we are seeing. So we are expected to import equipment worth 200 million to support this facility. We are also sending all the staff who will be working here on training abroad. There are trainings worth from 5 to 10 million per staff. Presently, we have 2 or 3 already in Tanzania. There are others who will go to other places, India, Bangladesh, for training. So we have that phase for trainings. And then there is a phase for the community outreach, as he mentioned, where we will support the staff to go out to the communities, do screenings, and refer all the cases that have been identified, especially school screening for children. So basically, that's the package we are talking about.
The country director of Christian Blind Mission, CBM, one of the main partners of the imposing facility, highlights the quality of the services the new hospital offers.
Base hospitals where they provide primary and secondary eye care services. Primary means you can only consult, have eye drops and glasses. Secondary, you can do surgery. So we had this in Bafoussam, Douala, Yaoundé. And the PCC, when this opportunity came, they said they wanted to extend these services to Limbe. So in Limbe, we used to have Acha Annex. I'm sure that's what you are referring to. There we are providing only the primary level services. So we are now expanding that unit to become not only secondary, but tertiary. Secondary because we will now be doing operations here, but tertiary because it becomes a subspecialty for children. You know, we always, with advances in eye health, we have come to know that children are having some conditions that were initially thought to be only existing in elderly people. But now, in the treatment, most of the times, children were treated like little adults, using the same kind of equipment, the same theater. So here what we are saying is that we will have units where you have, from the equipment, from the theater, everything will be adapted to children as, like you said, the standards that we have in the other parts of the world.
The hospital in the days ahead will be fully equipped with the state-of-the-art equipment for ophthalmic care, with particular focus on children. In prelude to the inauguration, the hospital has already trained 20 GPs, 10 community pharmacists, 40 eye nurses, 40 midwives, 10 ophthalmologists on pediatric eye care, most of them coming from private and government hospitals, and field coordinators who are expected to go into the hinterlands where children with eye problems could be identified and brought to the hospital.
We stay in the southwest region where some youths have been encouraged to invest in agriculture, considering it as a lucrative venture. This call was made during a 2-day youth agribusiness symposium organized by the Southwest Regional Delegation of Employment and Vocational Training. Details with Clarice Ekowe.
Agriculture, it is often said, is the life wire of every economy. However, many youths continue to shy away from the profession. The lack of interest in agriculture by most youths accounts for the high rate of unemployment among the youths, given that the government sector is unable to absorb all youths into the public sector. In order to embolden youths to accept agriculture as a profitable venture, this maiden edition of Youth Agribusiness Caravan and Symposium was organized by the Southwest Regional Delegation of Vocational Training and Employment.
We didn't just organize a caravan, we wanted the youths to have exposure, to get the best practices, to visit and see the best practices, listen to the stories of those who have succeeded, who have made it and everything. And at the end of the day, I feel very, very impressed. It gives me even the impression that they are interested, but they need just a push. And this is just a push, and we'll continuously do that. It's just the beginning.
Bringing together youths from various agri institutions, the main activity that characterized this agri caravan was different visits paid to large agri farms in the southwest region. At each farm, These youths were lectured on some best farming practices and how they can grow their farming businesses.
There was last thing that really impacted me was the last phase of the caravan, of which we were being carried up at Bimbia to visit a plantation there, and I saw a plantation of 40 hectares, and I was really amazed that if somebody can go this far just to start up a business, that shows that what agriculture is really something to take.
The most interesting farm that we went to was that of the Redeemed Farmers at Mutengene. It was a great experience getting to know that the founder of that farm started with just 24 chicks, and today is an owner of 3 poultry farms carrying 2,000 chicks, and is also a producer of feed.
The 2 days agribusiness caravan culminated with a symposium. Meanwhile, some youth already engaged into farming as a profession were handed farm implements as a means to encourage them in the lucrative venture they have chosen.
On this day, 1884, some German representatives in Cameroon signed a treaty with Costa or Douala chiefs or kings, granting Germans formal rights to claim possession of Douala or former Cameroons. The Germano-Douala Treaty gave right or conveyed the rights of sovereignty and legislation and management of Cameroons to the Germans. Let's now go down memory lane with Audrey Zatza.
On July 12, 1884, in Cameroon, the Douala paramount kings Beryl and Akwa, as well as other Douala notables, signed a treaty termed the Germano-Douala Treaty. This treaty gave rights of sovereignty, legislation and management to German firms with the respect of land rights intended to remain natives' property. Prominent figures present for the signature were Johannes Voss, an agent of the trading firm Janssen and Tomalen, and Edward Schmitz, acting on behalf of the Werman firm. A signature which marked the effective beginning of former German colonial control over the Cameroonian territory. This saw the reign of some prominent German governors in Cameroon, such as Julius von Soden, Jesko von Puttkamer, and Eugene von Zimmerer. While the Germans took over Douala in 1884, the British were in Victoria in 1885, and after negotiations, Britain handed over Victoria and surrounding areas to France. Cameroon then became internationally recognized between 1911 and 1912, when the first map was drawn. However, the German colonial rule in Cameroon ended abruptly in 1916, when the territory was lost to the Anglo-French coalition during World War I.
Thanks, Audrey Zatza, for that trip back in history. In sports, a football match to encourage young persons living with disabilities in Cameroon was played over the weekend under the theme, "You Can Also Be the Best." According to the organizers of this tournament, the aim is to promote social inclusion. Our reporter, Dolin Gonde, was part, and she compiled the following.
As young as he is, the 12-year-old Cameroonian artist Change Leung is already conscious of his social responsibilities. Moved by his empathic nature for humanity, Change Leung, in his monthly routine of meeting the needs of the vulnerable, focuses this time around in promoting social inclusion and acceptance between himself, his peers, the autistic, and all the physically challenged kids from the Madi Life Foundation by organizing this football tournament amongst themselves.
I organize this event because I want the children to have confidence in them and that they should not think that we don't need them. They should feel that they're important in the society. Today with the children, I've done a football match and it was very well. After the win-win football encounter between the kids, it was then time for another interesting sporting activity, the Kung Fu and martial arts. Ngangmeni Joseph is the Kung Fu coach who now explains how sports is essential in promoting social inclusion amongst the kids. It gives life, it gives confidence in them, because many have the impression that they are children who have been bewitched or so.
but that's not the case. So these sporting activities have made us to understand that they are also humans like the others. The event, which has been collaboratively sponsored by the brewery brand Suisse du Pays, has also witnessed its representative Victor Eyene applauding the initiative while calling on all the companies, stakeholders and individuals to put hands on deck as well. I'll start by saying Suisse du Pays is a company for the citizens which delights in enhancing social welfare, and that's the reason why we are participating here today. But we are calling on the sister companies and others to follow the humanitarian drive of Changeland. Meanwhile, as an active participant and witness to the event, Fetung Arlene now expresses her impressions of this initiative.
I'm so encouraged to see a young boy of close to 12 years carrying on such an activity and I'm so blessed to be a participant of such an event.
Powerfully attended by a college of artists, the event was also highly animated with a blend of Afro-pop medleys. Marceline Comeric, also known as Solidapart, was present. I found this event very interesting, and I want to immensely thank all the parents who sought time out to bring their children here today. For these children have autistic issues, but what I see in them is hope through this project. On her part, as the founder of the Madi Life Foundation, the daily challenges they face in containing the kids may warrant the support of well-wishers.
Can get me to my OH number 699880335 or 673366020.
Magdalene Cheese is the manager of Changeland, who is humbled by this initiative and now adds her humanitarian voice.
Please join us together. Let's bring support. Let's bring hope and change to the mentally disordered. Let's bring hope and change to the less privileged.
Before parting ways, the Madi Life ambassador Changeland further offered his new friends special gifts as souvenirs.
Still in sports, the General Assembly of the Cameroon Football Federation, scheduled for this Tuesday, July 13, 2021 in Yaoundé, will eventually take place. This comes after the upliftment of an announced ban. Let's now join sportsman Henry Wana for details.
The part also at the helm of the Cameroon Football Federation, FECAFOOT, seem far from coming to an end. While FIFA recognizes the executive committee headed by Mbombo Njoya, there exists another fraction that accepts the temporary executive committee with Senator Abed Mbida as head. It explains why a General Assembly convened by Sedum Mbombo Njoya on July 13, 2021 was earlier banned from holding by the divisional officer for Yaoundé 2. His reasons are clearly stated in the press release, such as the non-respect of the decision from the Court of Arbitration and Sport and the non-respect of the text that governs the federation. This is coming at a point in time when the Minister of Sport and Physical Education recently instructed the interim president of FECAFOOT to stop the organization of the General Assembly on account he is not eligible to summon executive members to review the text, but of the members of the Executive Committee of 2009 that have the authority in doing such. Contrary to all this, the divisional officer for Yaoundé 2, Mamadi Mahamat, in less than an hour, decides to grant the Mbombo Njoya team the authority to hold their General Assembly and adopt the text of FECAFOOT this July 13. FIFA, in a letter this July 12, regrets the twist of events at FECAFOOT at a point in time the nation is planning to host AFCON 2021. They equally expressed their desire to see this issue finally being laid to rest for peace to return in the Chinka House soonest.
Thanks, Henry Wana. With that, we end today's edition of Prime News on My Major Prime. Thanks for being a part. See you tomorrow, God willing, at 6:30 for another edition of Prime News on My Major Prime. Faith Tataburinyu coordinated the news, produced by Ewane Eli Nolinga. Genda Belgium Blanche King is my name. See you tomorrow. And we remind you to stay tuned to My Major Prime. After this, we have Prime Hour with Kim Leonard and his crack team of analysts. Enjoy today's edition. Happy viewing and good night.